Wednesday. It is the second Wednesday of the month, and that makes this. Damn it!
It's the third Wednesday of the month.
I'm gonna
take over. I'm gonna take over now.
Please do.
Both of you, shut up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Website 101 podcast. On the first and third Wednesday of every month, we do a YouTube Live. We call it Lunch Bytes because it happens at lunchtime, and we're nerds. So hi, my name is Amanda. I am one of the co-hosts of the Website 101 podcast. And with me is Sean Smith. Hey, Sean.
Hey, happy to be
and
here.
Mike Mella. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
How are you both today?
I'm doing great.
I feel like this is breakfast bites because I feel like I just woke up, and I'm certainly obviously thinking in the way that I would if I just woke up. So I'm fine, but yeah, it's like I'm still settling into the workday and so on. So that's all good.
All right.
I do have my Ontario Concord grapes for my little lunch bite. These are in
Nice.
season now, and they're delicious.
I love Concord grapes.
Got them at a farmer's market yesterday around the corner here.
Oh, very nice.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have some off-topic news.
Love it. Go.
All right.
I was invited to be a guest on a photography podcast.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know how big the guy is. He's local to Toronto, but he's got like well over 100 episodes. And I listened to 2 of them this morning to kind of get an idea for how it goes. The 2 I listened to were with pro photographers, so I'm wondering how often he talks to non-pro photographers, but you know, I don't know, and I'm recording tonight at 6.
All right. That's great.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so it should
Well,
be fun.
as I posted in the Slack channel, Sean put a bunch of pictures. He shared it on our Slack, and they're all from the CNE that's happening in Toronto right now. And I looked at the last one, and I'm like, that looks really familiar. Sean, did you put that on Reddit recently? And I see that you just replied, yeah. You put like a bunch of pictures up. I definitely saw that one. The
So
claw.
on Reddit, I just put one post with 9 photos, and that was the cover photo, the one that you recognized.
Yes. And you know what I'm even going to do? Because I feel that you are too modest to do this yourself. I'm going to try to share my screen, but I'm not going to make it all of it. I'm just going to have it be that specific window. And that was,
Whoa, look at that.
that is one of Sean's cool pictures from the CNE that I recognized because he posted it on Reddit. Good job, Sean.
Thanks. That was from Monday. Went Monday night.
What's that ride called again? Does anybody know?
I have no idea because I wasn't next to the entrance of the ride. I was like somewhere on the fairway and just, you know, I took my shot.
Yeah.
It's one of the many rides
personally-
I would never go on.
Yeah, I personally call that ride, "Ah hell nah."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not getting on
Not
that.
doing that. Yeah.
I love rides, but the CNE is too expensive for me. I go, I have some snacks, I take some photos, and then I come home. But the rides are expensive. If I'm going to do rides, I'm going to go to Canada's Wonderland or I don't know, theme park like Disney or something.
I think we did talk about that on our last episode. The difference between Canada's Wonderland and the CNE. I'm pretty sure.
I think so,
price
yeah.
wise.
Yeah, we might have mentioned it.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So what's new with you guys?
Amanda? We were talking before the show. We always cut off Amanda. We always jump. Me and Sean are always the first to answer, and I'm trying to consciously make an effort, and I'm consciously drawing attention to it. Amanda, would you like to say something?
I appreciate it. Thank you. So I don't remember when it was, last week, a couple weeks ago, I was sharing that sort of personal project that I've been doing, that sidewalk bingo, because I've been playing with Datastar. And what I showed last time was the server-side events, how like one person using a browser would like win the game, and send the update to all of the other people who are playing the same game.
Yeah.
So I've been continuing to work on this project, and I just wanted to show my progress because I'm really excited
please.
about it. I'm
looking
going to
forward
share
to
my
it.
screen
Just like
again.
Mike said about interrupting while Amanda's doing this, I'm very bad about this with everybody, so I'm being conscious about it. Back to being quiet.
Here, I'm gonna zoom in a bit. It doesn't look super awesome because it's done with Tailwind, and I'm really just like getting into Tailwind. So you can see that like it's supposed to drop down and it doesn't yet. So please do ignore stuff like that. Let's look at the DataStar stuff. So the big thing with DataStar is that it's supposed to be this like seamless interaction between the front end and the back end. And so the back end is also supposed to be able to drive changes to the front end. And so what you can do is a lot of really cool things. So in this particular screen that we're looking at, in my future vision, users will come and sign up to my site, and they will go and be able to make custom games so that they can share with their friends, and then their friends from all over the world can be playing the sidewalk bingo at the same time. So for this game, obviously, what the user needs to do is select the icons or the images or whatever that they want to be part of the bingo game. And what better way to have them select it is by either selecting individual icons, which is what I've been working on, or adding a pack. I thought it would be cool to like set up starter packs, predefined packs. They're not supposed to all be yellow. That's a mistake. I'll fix that later.
That's right. Oh, it looks cool though. Look at that.
Live
office
demos
page.
always happens. So maybe everybody wants to play sidewalk bingo in the office. So you could like start with these icons, or maybe you're at the beach. And so like you could have them for different seasons. And I haven't gotten to that yet. I don't have it so that you can select from a pack yet. I've just been working on individual icons. Mm-hmm. So again, with DataStar, because the front end and the back end can talk to each other seamlessly, I have the edit. So you can edit one of these titles that would be displayed to the users playing sidewalk bingo. And then when you save it and it gets updated,
Look at that.
and you don't have to refresh the screen, but I'm just going to show you that yes, it did actually update the database information when I hit save. You can update the color. I'm going to save that. What I'm also working on right now is that I want it so that when you change the color over here automatically updates as well. If I refresh the screen, it shows it in the new color. So yes, the database has been updated. You can delete an icon and it removes it from the database and it gets rid of that row. And something else I tested this morning is that if you start editing this and you're like, oh no, I actually wanted to edit that, it like seamlessly switches over.
Wow.
It ignores everything you were doing.
Wow,
Here's what I'm super excited about. You can just start searching for icons.
nice.
And so displaying all of these is DataStar, just displaying them with a really quick search. You can select whichever one you want. It gets added to the database. A row gets inserted into the table. And again, you can just get in here and start lab equipment to do whatever you want and save.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
DataStar.
All right. Ben Croker
yeah.
is the creator of DataStar. Our friend Ben
Well,
has been on the show a few times. Oh, sorry. What?
Uh,
Sorry, he didn't create
DataStar-
DataStar. That's right.
No, somebody else created DataStar, but then Ben worked with him to be able to have Craft utilize the DataStar library. So
Yes.
thank you again. Thank you very much, Ben Croker, who has been helpful with like when I ask him questions, and knowledgeable and patient. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. So, and then of course, if you enter something that doesn't exist, and get rid of all of it, and
That's
Yeah.
fast, eh? Nice.
it is really fast. And so it's really cool because you can change here. Let me show you just a little bit of code. Save that. So one of the things that I really like is here in my icon search. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can read this a bit better. Get rid of that. Nope, that's actually showing the search. New icon. No, that's the one that's saving it. Where the hell am I? Oh, sorry. I know what I'm looking for. I'm closer to it. That edit save. Haha, here. So you can, sorry. this is what I was looking for. Ignore all of those other files. What you can do is set up, so like on the input, whenever the input changes, this is the stuff that it's going to actually do. So this is what drives the search. But you can see that it's like, oh, we'll wait for 200 milliseconds. So that you don't necessarily want the search to trigger every time they hit a key, especially if they type fast. You want them
Yeah.
to be like, oh, enter a couple keys and then wait for a second. And that's when you want to do the search. Or in this case, wait 200 milliseconds.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah. So the data star has,
stuff is really cool. I've used that before.
yeah.
but-
So the data star does a lot of cool stuff, binding and signals, which is just basically passing variables back and forth. And yeah, so I'm
So-
excited with how it's progressing.
Amanda, have you used Sprig before?
I have not.
Okay, that answers that
I
question.
so no, because usually I've talked about this before on both the podcast and on these lunch bites. I don't like relying too much on plugins. And so instead of using Sprig, I would have just like JavaScript up fetches and just sort of done that myself.
Fair enough.
But because Datastar is the Datastar library, which was made to interact the front end and the back end together, that single library is actually smaller than doing a bunch of your own JavaScript fetches.
Oh,
And even the Datastar plugin, the backend, plus or the Datastar library plus Ben Croker's Datastar plugin is still together less resource intensive than, like, I would have to, like, all of this typing would be a JavaScript call. Selecting one of the things would be a JavaScript call. Updating the table would be more JavaScript. Like, and so just in this case, using Datastar plus Ben's plugin is going to be less resource intensive than doing it all myself.
Yeah, my question was actually going to be, have you used Sprig? If so, how does it compare to Datastar? Because they're both very similar. Like the searching where it searches as you type, I've done that with Sprig, but I haven't done editing updates just like you did there. And I think Sprig I can do it, but I don't know for sure. And they're very, very similar, and both are plugins provided by Ben Croker.
Ben
and I know
Croker.
he's talked about the similarities and differences. but
Yes.
Because I haven't used Datastar myself, I forgot what he said and don't know which one to choose other than I am familiar with Sprig. So
Yeah. I know when I was like first getting into it, I don't remember if it was in Ben's Datastar documentation or if it was when Ben was talking to Ryan Ireland, who does CraftQuest, is it craftquest.io?
yes.
Like that craft training site. But at one point, Ben was talking about like migrating from Sprig to Datastar. So I mean, like there's stuff you're going to need to do and to add. But if you're familiar with Sprig, I would think that switching to Datastar wouldn't be that bad.
I
Like
seem to remember.
couple tech. Shut up. A couple tech concepts to wrap your head around, but I don't think it would be that bad. Mike, please do go now.
I seem to remember at the Craft.1 Toronto thing that we all went to when Andrew Welch gave a demo. Here we go
Swag.
of Datastar and Ben's plugin, sort of on behalf of him, and that he showed some charts about how fast it is. And I seem to remember the comparison with Sprig as well, because someone brought it up. My understanding is Datastar is much faster just because of the underlying APIs or whatever the hell it's using than Sprig. So I thought I remembered learning that he's going to be moving more toward Datastar and away from Sprig, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
Well, I use Sprig by default because I can crib so much code from across my projects. It's just faster for me to use Sprig.
Oh, well,
But I'm
exactly.
wondering maybe I should try out Datastar when I have a new project or a new feature on a site.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't add Datastar to everything. Like again, it's like it's got. I originally started looking at it because of the server side events, to be able to like push updates to everyone else who's on that page. But then once I felt like I had a bit of a handle on that, specifically for this project, it was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to be able to add and be able to modify, and just it doesn't need to refresh, and it's just all right there and looks kind of slick. And after I'm happy with stuff, I think that there's also a setting to like do like kind of smooth transitions instead of just like suddenly it's there or suddenly it just changes. It's like, maybe it could like sort of fade in from the side, or maybe the page could like slide off and have the new page slide on, even though it's just content being changed. I haven't looked into it yet, but it could be fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Good work.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will be hitting you up for whenever I want to use it. I'll be saying, hey, tell me how to do this.
Yeah.
Give me some pointers.
Yeah. Well, it's fun with this project, starting because it's like brand new project, starting from scratch. I'm like putting a bunch of new stuff into it. I also put in, started using Vite. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Vite, sure. And Tailwind, and with them all working together. And yeah, found a couple of cool articles online that were helpful, and then had to adapt because they were for an older version of Tailwind that apparently works much differently than Tailwind 4.
Yeah.
Question for Amanda. I recall some time ago that you said you weren't interested in Tailwind. What has changed recently that you're using it now?
Oh, it wasn't that I wasn't interested in Tailwind. I just hadn't done it. I hadn't gotten around to looking at it.
I guess I
And I thought,
misremembered or misunderstood.
yeah, well, especially for personal projects, because I'm not a designer. Usually I just start with an existing template. And so often all of the existing templates are like already Bootstrap. And it's like, whatever, screw it. Let's just use Bootstrap. But for this one, because the two of you shamed me into it and of talking about Tailwind so much, I thought, yeah, let's look at it. So there are a couple sites that will have some, not like full site designs, but like some examples of, and some of them you have to, here's a crock of shit. Some of them you have to like pay for to be able to see the more complex code structures and examples. And I'm just looking at the basics and I'm playing with this and I'm trying to do that. And I think I was complaining to Mike the other day that for some reason the hovers aren't working. And I don't know if it's because of Tailwind or because of Vite local versus the production. I don't know. So, I mean, playing with it, looking at it, getting around to it. Overall, I still like hand coding stuff, but a framework, front-end framework is a front-end framework.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And while Mike and myself talk a lot about Tailwind here, I'm not a prescriptivist about it. I don't think that everybody should use it. Just use what works for you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tailwind works for me, works for Mike. If you like Bootstrap or you like SaaS or whatever, just as long as you can deliver your end product to your client, that's all that matters.
Agreed.
Yeah, totally. All right. I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
If we're ready to move on here.
Yeah.
I recently had a project where it's about AI. This is of course going to be about AI, but it's also relevant to all web developers and even people who work with web developers. So bear with me here. I recently had a situation with a project where ChatGPT specifically came up as, well, couldn't we just do this with ChatGPT? That kind of came from the client side of a project, which is the first time that's happened for me, where clients have actually said, hey, why can't I just use ChatGPT for this? I don't want to get into too much more.
But for this, like to come up with a data model, to come up with a design, to implement the
Again,
design.
I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to reveal too much about anything.
Yeah.
So, but suffice to say, it's the first time someone's actually, a client has actually brought it up as, couldn't we just use ChatGPT kind of thing, right? For this particular thing. So my question is it time for, and I'll say the question and then I'll sort of elaborate a little bit. Is it time for us as developers now to be including our AI fluency when we promote ourselves? So what I mean by that is, in your portfolio, like Amanda, for example, I think on your website, you list, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, whatever else technologies that you use, as people frequently do, right? We'd be like, I know HTML, I know React, I know this and that. Or it could be more broad stuff like I do content strategy, I do design, I do UX, accessibility stuff, things like that. But you list your skill sets, right? When you're promoting yourself in a portfolio or in a proposal, like in my case, I often respond to RFPs and I would include that stuff in my proposals. So my question is have we reached the point where potential clients might be wondering, what is this guy doing with regard to AI? And I mean, it could be either way. Like they could be saying, let's say they look at my proposal and there's nothing about AI in it, how I use it or if I use it or whatever. I can imagine a client saying, okay, well, it's great, he does all this stuff, but I know that AI is a really big thing now, especially for code. He writes code. Why isn't there an AI strategy of some kind in here explaining how he uses AI in his work, or how he doesn't use it, or does he, use it as a tool or whatever else? On the other hand, you could look at it as, oh, this is a person, like when I make these proposals, I could say, I do not use AI. That's not true, by the way. I do use AI, but some people might lean into that. Hey man, I'm old school. I do everything by hand and I don't need AI. Screw vibe coding and all that kind of thing. Anyway, my question for you guys is, do you think we've reached that point where we should be mentioning AI when we promote ourselves, as far as how we use it in our work or if we use it? Are people expecting to find that from us now?
I think that, thank you, Sean. I think that as a developer, I think that unless you solely rely on vibe coding, I don't know that it's necessary to include. Like you wouldn't say, oh, I know Visual Studio Code. Like, I mean, yes, it should come up in conversation with the client. I think that if you have done something very specific, like come up with AI data models, then yes. And if that's like something that you're really interested in and something that you've been learning a lot, that's like more specific and more niche. But I think that just saying, hey, I use AI, I don't think so.
So
you go,
happen
Sean.
to agree with Amanda that no, we don't need to say we're using AI. I think it's safe to assume that 90% or more of developers are using AI to some extent. If a client asks if I use AI, I'll say, yeah, sure. I ask AI to do things that it can do faster than I can hand code it. And then I review the code to make sure that it's correct, because AI, as it stands today, is not ready to just vibe code. I mean, I've seen videos and people like, oh, look what it did. It did wrong. Well, I use AI and I think it's important to use it, but to recognize its current limitations, which may be different a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever. So no, I just assume if they want to ask about it, I'll tell them, yeah, I do use AI, but I don't just sit here and say, oh, well, here's the design for XYZ business. Spit out a website for me, and I sit back and drink coffee. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But even saying that you don't do that could be a valuable thing to promote.
Well, okay. See, but here's
I don't know.
I guess it depends where exactly you're referring to. Like I wouldn't add it as a bullet point on my resume, and I wouldn't add it as a bullet point of my skill set. But Mike, I know that you fill out a lot of RFPs. So as you're describing in the RFP, what you do and how you do it, I would include it in there. Something about, taking advantage of something about using AI to help you, using AI as a
Optimize my
tool.
coding approach or
Some-
something. Yeah.
I don't know that I'd even go that far, but some way it's saying that, yes, I'm going to use AI to do these, to not do everything, but to like assist me in these parts of the project.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in an RFP or the conversation that you have with the client, I think that could be beneficial.
Yeah, because in my case, at least, there have been times when like I work with a lot of clients where I have this ongoing relationship with them, and it's more of a long-term partner relationship kind of thing. And there's been times when I have been able to leverage AI to help me propose a solution for something for them, for a project that's not even necessarily all that code related. Like I can use Notebook LM to analyze all their whatever documents and figure out the best approach for a donation thing or whatever else. So I've done that kind of thing before. And I know there are still a lot of clients who just think of AI as it'll write a cute poem about my cat or some stupid thing like that. And they don't really understand the depth they could be using it as. So I wonder if saying, hey, listen, I know a lot about AI and how we can use it for your business. So I don't know. I'm just sort of wondering if that's something.
So
Yeah,
I have
that's a
another,
question. But yeah,
I have another concern about including how I use AI in project briefs and stuff like that. I'm concerned that maybe the clients can go, well, look, he's using AI so much. Why don't I just go and find a vibe coder and
Yeah.
do that? And now I don't need to hire a web developer. And
yeah,
I know
But-
at the current stage that would probably not go well, probably,
But
it
that's
will
exactly it.
eventually.
No, but it's exactly the same. It's like, why would a client hire us who actually knows stuff as opposed to hiring, an Elementor designer? And it's like, sure, maybe you're going to get a website out of it, but it's going to be a completely different experience with a completely different outcome. And if that's all that you want, sure, go ahead, go for it. But if you want custom, if you want specific, if you want it to be exactly how you want it, that's where we come in. And I think it's the same thing with the AI. Yeah, the client might be like, oh, well, why do I need them? It's like decades ago when everyone and their dog thought they were designers. Guess
Yeah.
what? You're not. That's what you pay professionals for. So
Yeah.
I think that, yeah. So Mike, what you were saying about, about how, like, if you wanted to explain either in an RFP or even on your website, yeah, I use AI to help with business stuff. I think that clients for sure would be interested in that. But I think as developers, I think we're just kind of expected to know it. And if, like I said, it's a tool. It's another
Yeah.
tool. I would
Yeah,
never
I don't
list it
ask my
as,
mechanic what brand of tools he uses or how he uses his tools. I just assume he's gonna fix my car, and as long as I don't die because he screwed up, I'm happy.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, obviously the three of us would be leaning into the look. We've been doing this for years. We can get our hands dirty. We didn't just come out of school and start using a vibe coding app, and now we can do all this work. Like we obviously wouldn't be doing that, but yeah, I'm thinking of it as, is it a tool now that people expect us to be able to intelligently comment on how it can be used to help their business or whatever. So that's kind of what I was wondering. But that, yeah, good conversation. I appreciate all that. And if
Well,
anyone's
again-
watching later and they have any thoughts, put a
comments?
thing in the comment,
Want to
please.
hear them. Again, I think that more for the business side, if you can like add it
Yeah.
as more of like, this is what I can do for your business, I think that's a great solution. I don't do anything for anybody's business. I just write code.
You do that for their business.
I do that for their business, but like that's my box. That's my skill set.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair enough.
I'm mostly in line with what Amanda does as well. I want to expand, but mostly I code.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, it's now noon. Should we wrap
It
it up
is.
right there?
I think
I
it's
think
time
so.
to wrap up the lunch bites.
So as we say every time, the season 9 starting very soon. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Website 101 podcast. We haven't started recording yet, but we will, and it'll be dropping in the coming few
Weeks.
weeks probably, I would think.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Sean say yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Bye everyone.